the community and your outlook in life than how much you earn and what you could be earning there and what position you hold in society itself. This is why consumerism has now become the new religion. People are turning to them for meaning. In this modern age, your child may be embarrassed if you took your child, and if you're from the upper middle class or beyond, if you took your child to possibly, purely as an example, pet stores, to buy a t-shirt, just to be seen in a pep store for someone in the middle to upper middle class would be an affront to their dignity. Am I right? Yeah. That's affluenza. If your children have been, and if you yourself find yourself in a condition where you are such a snob that you would rather buy something from a deli and pay 3 times the price because it's all organic and because it's all what's it called, rustic, right? And so on. Right? Instead of buying the very same thing from Checkers or Spa or from a boxer store, you have affluenza. If you have an issue taking public transportation and would prefer to go in your car, if it's warranted, if you're ashamed of that condition, if someone saw you like, you have problems of affluenza. Really. And that's dunya. That's dunya. And this is where the ummah, where the Prophet ﷺ said, this is one of the things I fear most for my dunya, that there will people who start competing for dunya, and they will attach value to these material objects to such a degree that that will be the thing that will be giving them meaning. And they need these things. People have stated that the Duke University conducted a study, and they came to realize, they explored the idea that religion and brand reliance and culture share a similar psychological need. The need to publicly express one's self-worth. Interesting. All of you who are into branding, they indicated that there's something religion and branding and brand reliance has in common. What that is, the need to publicly express one's self-worth. Very interesting point. What happens? What does religion do for you? Religion makes you express your own self-worth in a positive manner. And branding and brand reliance makes you and enables you to express your self-worth, but in a negative manner. Religion enables you, religion means Islam and so on, enables you to say that I have a higher objective in life. I subscribe to certain virtues, certain values, certain beliefs, and so on. And you judge your self-worth by virtue of your relationship with your Creator and by your commitment to your deen. Whereas your brand reliance is ephemeral and shortcoming, simply because if today Apple is not the flavor of the month, and 2 years from now, HTC or the new Facebook phone, you know, they will launch it. No. The new Facebook phone, it hasn't come out yet. When the new Facebook phone comes out, becomes the most popular hardware in terms of smartphones, becomes thing that, what will happen? You will ascribe meaning to that brand. Brands that were famous in the 90s, Reebok, are not as famous as they are anymore. Right? And you see what has happened. So we have this shifting sands in terms of what we give value to and attribute value to. And the Holy Quran is telling you that this is what affluenza is. Now, when it comes to the issue here, is that, right, the paradox here is this one here, right? We are presented with an alternative lifestyle. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you that I want to give you a spiritual wage. You have a choice. You take a spiritual wage, or you take a material, financial wage. And what we are out there seeking is material reward and material wage and a material benefit. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ أَوْنَبِّئُكُمْ بِخَيْرٍ مِّن ذَلِكُمْ, can Allah show you something better than that? Right? And the Holy Prophet ﷺ was very clear, this is what I fear most from my ummah. And today, right now, our communities are suffering from this main issue. And we can't seem to get ourselves out of it. And let me tell you, we are so gullible in terms of taking inspiration from the dominant culture out there, which happens to be what we would call white, Western, secular culture. Do you know what the Indonesians have for breakfast? Japanese?
Once.
Thai? Do you know what they have for breakfast? What do Americans have for breakfast?
Bacon and eggs, sausage.
And what else?
Fries.
Fries. And cereals. Who invented cereals?
The prophet.
Cereals. Cereals were invented by Kellogg's.
Okay.
It's an American brand. It's an American brand. But the brand was so pervasive and the idea was so pervasive that anywhere in the world and everywhere in the world right now, which is influenced directly by Western thinking and Western communities and Western societies, the choice of breakfast is what? Most of our kids today and most parents in their homes today give what children for breakfast? Cereals. What's called Wheat Bix and cornflakes and the other one, what Cocoa Pops and all of other nonsense sugary junk. Cocoa Pops, that's it. There. This is the pervasive influence of these brands and this branding. And it's all there in terms of improving their bottom line. And they will manipulate you. They manipulate you. They play on the emotion. You know, the best adverts I've ever seen are adverts for people to apply for a credit card. Have you seen those adverts? You will think, you know what, it's about a life-affirming issue. But the reality is, you know, I think this was there's a MasterCard one, I remember. I was like in stitches, where you see a little child out there, you know, he's playing with the toy, the father buys a toy for the child, and so on, and he says, you know what, they give you a number to a story, right? The cost of buying this toy, right, was 500 rand. The cost of delivery was 20 rand, right? And the method of payment was through MasterCard, right? And when the child finally gets the gift, the child ignores the gift and starts playing with the box. So he says, for everything else, right, to enjoy life's greatest moments, right, it's for free. For everything else, there's MasterCard. There's MasterCard. You'll see the adverts for home loans. You'll see the adverts for taking things on credit, done in such a beautiful manner that people will feel compelled to go out there and take a loan, not realizing that they're putting a noose around their necks. And this is what happens. So the person afflicted by affluenza is more and more afflicted with the virus by virtue of all of this advertising and whatever it is that takes place. And before you know it, you are so afflicted by it that you can't come out of it. And people fall into excessive debt because of that. It changes people's outlook in life. People get into such a situation that they end up stealing at times, just to maintain a lifestyle. And for whose pleasure? For whose acceptance? For whose acknowledgement? Humanity's acknowledgement. What are we up to? What are we up to? Okay? I'm going to give you an idea how pervasive this is. Do you think all of these movie stars and the popular people in media and so on, do you know how they make their money? You know, people follow Kim Kardashian, right? For every Instagram post that she does, you will notice that maybe she is advertising a certain product. Or she may be saying, oh, I'm using this thing here for waxing. Or I'm using this product here, you know, for my glowing skin, which may be like a vitamin E oil, you know, capsule or this or whatever it is. Right? And she just posts that on her Instagram. Or she posts, a brand name of something that she has on it. Do you know for every post that she does, she can earn up to $400,000 US. Up to $400,000 US. Purely by one Instagram post. Because it will be read by so many millions of people, and all of these million people will follow her because they follow her on Instagram, and they will follow her in stupidity, and they will go and buy the stuff. So they've covered that amount of money in a period of a few days, because that 400,000 was nowhere near, in terms of the demographics of America alone, of the number of people who were just influenced into buying that product and coerced into buying the product simply because Kim Kardashian, by the way, endorsed it. The world of advertising has changed completely. It feeds into the illness of affluenza until it completely destroys your spiritual and your moral fabric. Now, the question is, and this is why, because we're trying to make it as palatable for you as possible, right? I just want to go to some of the issues. We know the issues. We know we are caught up in type of this. What are some of the solutions to some of these issues? It has to do with us as believers. right? And it has to do with the way you and I deal with these matters in terms of finding these solutions which will be effective for us in terms of our lives and so on. Let me just right? You see, if you are infected by the virus of affluenza, how do you change your mindset? Number one, you see, stop acting positive, stop thinking positive, act positive. Let me explain that to you. When you realize, and you need to come to a realization about that you know what, I am afflicted by affluenza only. Some may have very serious symptoms and some may have mild symptoms, but the point is you still have the symptoms and you've got to clarify this. The first thing is to act positive, not think positive. Don't just think about putting things right. Do something about putting things right. And this is our problem. Consciously make decisions and change your patterns of behavior. So you need to now reconfirm and reaffirm to yourself that if I'm walking through a supermarket or through a shopping mall or whatever it is, and if there is a supermarket that is slightly cheaper in terms of A, B, C or D, right? Can I change my buying habits to accommodate it in such a way that I can take a similar substance and a similar product, maybe of the same quality from the other shop? Can I do that? Can I change my thinking? I don't have to say that I only shop at Woolworths. Right? I mean, I know in the Indian community in general, the one thing that there is absolute parity on and balance in, and there is no snobbery in that, is wherever Indians get cheap butter, they buy. Right? I'm saying, act positive. Not think positive. So when you start acting positively and you see that you begin to change your habits, automatically, right, you start to bring down the symptoms of affluenza. Secondly, have intrinsic, not extrinsic motives. Meaning, let your niyyah, innamal a'malu binniyat, let your intentions be pure. Let your intentions be that, Ya Allah, I want to save myself from this excessive wastage. Ya Allah, I want to live a frugal life. Ya Allah, I would rather spend this money on the poor and the needy because I can do without A, B, C or D. Let not your motive be extrinsic, where you want to buy this, you want to own this, you want to possess this, so that people must say, hey, but this guy is a very dapper guy, you know, he dresses very well, you know, he drives the fanciest of cars, they live in a fancy home, they go on holidays here and there and whatever it is. Why are we seeking the pleasure and the acceptance of human beings? So let your motives be intrinsic. Let it be for the sake of Allah. Let it be for the sake of Allah. I'll give you an example of this. One narration states that the wife of Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala, after a period of time, after he became Amir al-Mu'minin, Khalifatul Mu'minin radiallahu ta'ala anhu, right? One evening when he came back home from his work, where he was Khalif, when he came home, he saw that his wife had made a sweet dish. So he asked him, my dear, where did you get the money to make a sweet dish from? Because I just give you enough food to be able to, enough money to be able to sustain ourselves. There's no way that you could have purchased this. He says, no, my dear, what I was doing was that every time that you gave me my stipend for the past few months or whatever it is, I was saving and pinching a few pennies, you know, like 1 cent here, and 2 cent there, and 3 cent there, and 3 rand here, whatever it is, until I saved up enough money to make for you a sweet dish that I know you like. This was the love of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq anhu's wife for him. So he looked at her, he said, he told her, thank you very much, and thank you once again. As of next month, I will cut down your stipend by an X amount so that I can give more of that money into charity. That is as-Siddiq. That is as-Siddiq. Right? I want to give you the answer for this in terms of this. Just now, I'm just giving the ideas of what's going on. Let's go to, right? Be beautiful. And this is where we are, right? Because we're looking for meaning, right? We're looking for meaning in this brand because we think if I wear an outfit which was made by Hugo Boss and which cost an arm and a leg and it was made out of, for God's sake, nylon, right? It's better for me to do that than wear a cashmere jacket, right? Bought from Woolworths, right? So, because you have this brand reliance, to get out of that, be beautiful, not attractive. And that comes with a positive idea about who you are. Maintaining a positive attitude about yourself. Let your